What's up? How you guys doing? Oh, that was weak. Literally not a single noise. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Hey, boys, playing video games. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Come on, everybody. Thank you, Thad. You're a trooper. I appreciate it. Well, we're just gonna kind of like have a conversation while we just wait on the boys. Austin, did you end up winning? No. The face of defeat. He just comes in. He's like, no. It's okay, Austin. It's okay. You're a winner in my heart. Anyways, welcome everybody. I'm excited you guys are here. If you don't know me, my name's Micah. This is our environment for 6th through 8th graders. Everybody turn around, say what's up to the people online. What's up, what's up, what's up? Thank you guys for tuning in online. So excited you guys are here as well. We got some really cool stuff and fun things to do today. So we have an awesome worship video. We are wrapping up week 3 of our series, No Matter What. And then we have a pretty fun game. So a lot of you guys have been saying you like missed Micah's minutes and all that kind of stuff. So this game is kind of going to be a Micah's minute type-ish game, okay? But you guys are gonna get a little bit part of it. There's no like winners or losers in this game. It's just for fun. Oh, you're like, oh yeah, I know you guys are competitive. Yeah, see, everybody's a winner. There, see, Austin, look, everybody's a winner. There you go. Everybody's a winner. Cool. So go ahead, Faith, if you could throw the name of this game up. What do you call it? So this is gonna be a heated game. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys now. This is gonna be a heated game. There's a lot of controversy that goes into some of these objects and what you call it. And I'm gonna be honest, I get heat. There's a certain one that and I think I already see the logo of it. It's gonna get heated, and I'm going to be very passionate about it. And if you want, I will let some of you come up and argue with me. But it's gonna be civilized arguments, okay? And we can all take a vote, and whichever one has the most popular vote will win per se and be the more popular one. So we're just gonna get into the first one. Here we go. Let's see it. Yup. Okay, this is dumb. So here we go. This is exactly what I'm talking about. This is really dumb. This is really dumb. I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys vote, and then I'm gonna tell you what the right answer is. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you what the right answer is. So, no, it's the right answer. There's no opinion here. It's it's the right answer. Okay, if you think it is pop, raise your hand. If you think it's pop, I'm at pop. Oh my goodness, that is sad. That is so sad. Really, really. Okay, interesting. Chad, I'm curious. In Michigan, a lot of people call it pop. Like, is that why? No, you just always call it pop? Interesting, okay. That's because it's right. Okay. Raise your hand if you call it soda. Okay, that's like really close. That's like 50-50, honestly. Okay, and then guess what? For the people that are correct in the room, who calls it Coke? Yup, Coke is what it's called. Thank you very much. It is all called Coke. For the 5 of you that did it with me, thank you. Yes, Sprite is like, it's a Coke. It's a Coke product. It's Coke. Like, I get it. Yes, it's called Sprite. But yes, Pepsi's Coke. I don't care. It's just, yes, when I go to a restaurant, I say, I want a Coke. And they say, what kind? And then I will go on to proceed and say, oh, I want a Dr. Pepper. Or, oh, I want a Mountain Dew. But until that moment, I say, oh, I want a Coke. I don't care if it's Pepsi. I always want Coke. Like a Coke is everything. That is what it is. I don't care. These are both incorrect. It is not pop or soda. It's all just Coke. No joke. Now I will say what I'm about to say is a little bit of a stretch, but as a kid, like Fanta, I would literally call that orange Coke. Like I would call that orange Coke. I get that. That's a little bit of a stretch. I get that, but it's all Coke. It's just all Coke. Anyways. I don't care. You guys can disagree. That's just right. That's the fun part about this game, everybody. Okay, next one. Here we go. Okay. This one's easier. Okay, raise your hand if you think it's washroom. Oh, thank goodness. Okay, nobody raised their hand for washroom. I was about to say, if you raise your hand for washroom, you're coming up and explaining, because there's no way. I've never heard anybody call it a washroom. Yeah, raise your hand if you think restroom. Everybody, right? Or bathroom. Okay, we're gonna switch it up. I like that, Gina. That's good. What do you guys call it? Raise your hand for restroom or bathroom. So we're gonna go restroom first. Raise your hand for restroom. Okay, and then bathroom. See? Okay, that's good. I agree with you guys. I think the interesting thing though is if it's like a house, it's a bathroom. But like at like a store, I'm like I don't really ask where I usually ask where the restroom is. I feel like at a store because it's like called restroom. You know, it's interesting. It's interesting. I never thought about that actually. But yeah, okay. But yeah, no. But we can all agree, washroom, not it. No, nobody calls it washroom. That's just not. That's not a thing. I don't know. I've never heard anybody call it that. Okay. A laundry room. Yeah, that's a flapjacks or pancakes. Okay. Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you think it's pancakes. I think just about everybody. Ashton, I don't see your hand up. You're worrying me. You're worrying me. Don't put your hand up for this next one. Raise your hand if you think it's flapjacks. Come up here. Come up here, Ashton. Jacob, you think it's flapjacks? It's pancakes? Okay. I want you to go ahead for like 20 seconds. Explain. No, I don't. You think it's flapjacks. Here you go. Mic's all yours. Why do you think it's flapjacks?
I think it's just because like I grew up watching TV and they would say flapjacks on it instead of pancakes. I call washrooms washrooms.
Nope. No more microphone for you. No more microphone for Ashton. Nope. No, no, no. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That's crossing a line. Washroom? Okay, like, where have you seen a washroom? Like, where? Like, okay, do you like at a, like when you're like at a a restaurant? You're like, hey, where's the washroom? Is that what you say? If you asked me that, I'd be like, what are you talking about? I genuinely would not know what you were asking. That's crazy. And so like at IHOP, you're gonna say, I want like 3 flapjacks. You know it says International House of Pancakes. It's not International House of Flapjacks. Okay, well, that's a hot take. That's a hot take. I don't know about that one. I don't know. That's true, I guess, Gina. But I don't know. Okay, next one. Here we go. Oh, this one's gonna go either way. Tennis shoe or sneaker? Okay. Raise your hand if you think it's tennis shoe. They are different, but people call them for different things too. What? They usually are 2 different things, but the thing is people call them the same thing a lot of the time. I don't think people realize what they're calling. Gym shoe. Interesting. Okay, raise your hand if you think it's sneaker. Sneaker. So like, okay, for your let's do this. So like for your general shoe, like right, like you're thinking like the most typical, like just you see a shoe, okay? What do you call that? Raise your hand if you call it a tennis shoe. Okay, raise your hand if you call it a sneaker. So majority gym. Okay, raise your hand if you call it a gym shoe. Most people are saying tennis shoe, actually, I think. Interesting. I agree with you guys. I think I've always called it like tennis shoes. Like I'm like, hey, where are my tennis shoes? Where are my sneakers? I don't know. That just sounds weird. It sounds weird. I think sneakers is the loser on this one, guys. I think it's either gym shoes or tennis shoes. Other than that, it's like, I don't know. Like I never say like, oh, those are cool sneakers. I just say those are cool shoes. I don't know. And tennis shoes are closer to shoes, but I don't know. Okay, next one. Let's see what we got. Next one here. Oh, interesting. Okay, Molly, I'm going to go ahead and have you come up here because I saw you instantly get very passionate about this, and you're like, oh, man.
Okay, suckers and lollipops are 2 completely different things. A sucker, that is a picture of a lollipop. A sucker is a dum-dum. I rest my case.
Dang, okay, wow, you got a whole, walk-off round of applause there. Good job, Molly. That is a very good point, because that picture, that's a lollipop. I agree. That is a lollipop. Like, I would not call that a sucker. I'd call that a lollipop. But, like your dum-dum suckers is what, okay, is there anybody here that calls it a dum-dum lollipop? Because that just sounds really dumb. That sounds really dumb. Okay, good. It's 100% a dum-dum sucker. And then those are lollipops. We all agree. Yes, Ethan. Yeah, exactly. So, thank you, Ethan. Yes, you're proving the point. Yep, look, Ethan knows. Ethan knows. Perfect. Okay, hey, I think that might be the first one we're unanimously agreeing on. That's good. Okay. Okay, raise your hand if you think it's sofa. A sofa. Ashton. Every time I'm just going to look at Ashton. I'm going to be like, what is Ashton's? It is a piece of furniture, but more specifically, okay, so there's like 3 or 4 that say sofa. Raise your hand if you think it's couch. Wow, okay, majority, yeah, pretty much everybody says couch. I would agree with you guys, that's a couch. There's just no other way around it. I never say, hey, you know, you want to like go sit on the sofa? Oh, that sounds disgusting. Ugh. Sit on the sofa? That just sounds weird. No, like, hey, let's go sit on the couch. That is a normal sentence. Let's go sit on the couch. Compared to let's go sit on the sofa. Sounds like some, I don't know, like fancy, like, oh, let's go sit on the sofa. I don't know, I hate that. Hate that. Sorry, Ashton. I'm picking apart your favorite way to call a couch a sofa. I don't know. You know how to word this. I just can't believe it. Washroom, flapjacks, and sofa. Whew. That's rough. That's rough. Wait, Ashton, what did you say for Coke? You said soda? Interesting. Okay. We're about to call this, what does Ashton call it? That's the name of the game. Okay, next one. Here we go. Oh, this should be unanimous. This should be unanimous. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get this out of the way. Raise your hand if you say clicker. Thank you. Unanimous. Everybody, we all agree. Remote, raise your hand if you think it's remote. Everybody's hand should be up. Carter, do you have a different answer? Oh, he doesn't have, okay. Okay. What? Molly, what, do you have a different answer? What? No, you don't. You don't call it a clicker. There's no way. I don't believe that. That's lying. That is not true. Don't believe that for a second. Yeah, I mean, I call it a TV remote, but like same thing, remote, TV remote. So, yeah. Okay, cool. We're all on the same page. Next one. Ooh, interesting. Okay, well, first of all, I've never heard it called a submarine. It's called a sub. I've never heard the marine part. So, ignoring the marine part, because that's weird. I don't know what that's all about. Do you guys call, okay, we're going to go what we see off the screen, okay? That on the screen. Do you call that a sub or a hoagie? Raise your hand if you think it's a sub. Most of you. Ashton. Raise your hand if you think it's a hoagie. Casey, too. Interesting. Does anybody want to come up and explain why they think this is a hoagie? The 3 of you, out of the 3 of you, does anybody want to come up and explain why they think this is a hoagie? Anybody? You already explained? What's your reasoning why this is a hoagie? Hoagies and subs are different things. Okay. So what makes this a hoagie? So like So like at Subway, the meatball marinara, right? That's called a meatball sub, I'm pretty sure, right? What? But if it's got sauce on it, then it's technically should be a hoagie in your definition. So how does that work? I just broke your whole. I don't know. Doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense. Interesting. Ashton, you're continuing the streak of the unpopular vote. That is for sure. But hey, you're just unique. You're just unique. Okay, how many more of these do we have? 2 more? Okay, we'll get them really quick. Here we go. Next one. Tap or faucet? Okay, we're going to go straight into it. Raise your hand if you think it's tap. Oh, Caleb. Interesting. A sink? Okay, that's fair. Yeah, a sink. Okay, raise your hand if you think it's called faucet. Okay. We're going to do another one. Raise your hand if you think it's called sink. Okay, we're going to go. Okay, raise your hand if you think it's sink. Okay, now raise your hand if you think it's faucet. So sink is the most popular, I think. Yes? You want to come up? Okay, share your opinions. Go ahead, Lila. Here you go.
Sink and faucet are 2 different things. Sink is like the entire thing. Faucet's like the pipe.
That's true. Yup. Round of applause for that. Good stuff. I like it. That's good. Yup. So the sink is like the actual like well, like where the water is like, falling in. And then the faucet is like that, what we see on the screen. We got to go off what's off the screen, people here. That we're not thinking. So, yes, based off that, I would agree that's called facet. Or facet. I'm making up new words. Faucet. I combined them. Yes. Okay. Okay, so that's another way to look at it, is how do you get, like, do you call it like, oh, like I want like water from the tap, or do I want water from the faucet? What do you guys say in that situation? For any of you, does that change your answer when you say it like that? Oh, yeah, it's true. Or you can just get it from the refrigerator. So, I mean, hey, I don't know. It's an interesting take. Okay, we're gonna do one more, last one. Here we go. Oh, we're ending on an easy one. We are ending on an easy one because if anybody in this room says buggy, I'm walking out those doors. So, raise your hand if you think it is shopping cart. A Fortnite shopping cart. I looked over at Ashton. Okay, raise your hand if you think it's buggy. Oh, yeah, all you boys are like, oh, okay, I want to see Micah walk out the room. None of you guys actually think it's buggy. That is cap. That is cap. Okay, one of you come up here and explain why you think it's actually buggy, if you even know what that means. No, up here. Come up here. Come up here. One of you that actually believe it's buggy. Come on. We're going to end this one on a hot take right here. Come on, everybody welcome Jacob to the stage. Yeah. Okay, Jacob. Explain to us why you think that on the screen is called a buggy.
Wheels and it moves.
That is. I want to ask your dad, has he ever in the store, or have you guys ever called it a buggy? Okay, I'm walking out. I'm done. No way. No way. Nope. Somebody else take over. This is dumb. This is not correct. I'm just kidding. Anyways, that is ridiculous. That is, thank you. It is 100% a shopping cart. That is a unanimous. We're ending on that. 100%. That is a shopping cart, without a doubt. Cool. Well, as you guys know, with those games, those get intense. If you guys don't know what Micah's Minute is, it's basically just a bunch of debating and arguing about stupid opinions that don't actually matter, but like they're just fun to argue. So, you know, probably the most popular opinion that you guys didn't agree with that I had was Coke. We can argue about it sometime. I'd love to. We don't have the time right now, but come find me after and we'll argue. But hey, I'm so excited you guys are here. Glad we got to have a little fun with you guys. We are about to go into a time of worship. But before that, we're going to go into a time of communion. So everybody, quiet down, quiet down. Shh. I know, crazy game, but we're going to go into a time of communion. And so, especially during this time of Easter, this is a super, super important time because as we know, the reason we celebrate this event, as we know is Easter, is because of the resurrection, right? Because Jesus was risen from the dead, right? He was dead. He was risen from that tomb 3 days later. And so we celebrate that, and we celebrate that idea during this time and during this symbolization called communion. And so, during this time of communion, there's a little cup back there with some juice in it and a cracker. And so the cracker represents his body, and the juice represents his blood. And so if you have made the decision to accept Jesus and follow him in your heart, this is a time for you. That you can go back there, and it's that symbolization, right? To reflect and to think about that sacrifice that he made. But if that's not for you yet, and if you've not made that decision, that's perfectly fine. What I encourage you to do is sit here and just talk to God. Just take some time and listen. Listen to what he's telling you. Talk to him. How's your day? How are you doing, right? Talk to him about it. Talk to him about what's going on in your life because he cares and he wants to hear about it. So during these next couple minutes, I encourage you guys to do that. If you've made that decision, you guys can go ahead and walk back there, and there's cups back there for you guys. And then there's a trash can back there as well for these next couple minutes. And after that, we're going to go into a time of worship. So for these next couple minutes, go ahead. You guys can grab communion, and then we'll be right back up for worship. Thanks, guys.
So for me, there we are. There's two big meanings. Number one is it talks about how God shows us who he is through the things that he's made, the things that he says, and the things that he's done. And it goes through, each verse goes through one of those things and just talks about some of the things that he's done and said to show us who he is. The other big point for me is it's about us living a life of obedience. And so it kind of talks about how everything that he's made, even the rocks, the stars, the mountains, right? We view them as these inanimate objects, but he made them with a purpose and for a purpose. And they obey him, and so will I. So if y'all want to stand up, we can sing.
God of creation, there at the start, before the beginning of time. With no point of reference, you spoke to the dark and fleshed out the wonder of light. And as you speak, 100 billion galaxies are born. In the vapor of your breath, the planets form. And if the stars were made to worship so light, I can see your heart in everything you made. Every burning star, a signal fire of grace. And if creation sings your praises, so will I. God of your promise, you don't speak in vain, no syllable empty or void. For once you have spoken, all nature and science follow the sound of your voice. When as you speak, 100 billion creatures catch your breath, evolving in pursuit of what you said. And if it all reveals your nature so alive, I can see your heart in everything you say. Every painted sky, a canvas of your grace. And if creation still obeys you, so will I. So will I. So will I. If the stars were made to worship, so will I. If the mountains bow in reverence, so will I. And if the oceans roar your greatness, so will I. For if everything exists to lift you high, so will I. And if the wind goes where you send it, so will I. If the rocks cry out in silence, so will I. salvation. Chase down my heart through all of my failure and pride. On a hill you created, the light of the world, abandoned in darkness to die. And as you speak, 100 billion failures disappear. Where you lost your life so I could find it here. And if you left the grave behind you so alive, I can see your heart and everything you've done. Every part designed in a work of art called love. If you gladly chose surrender, so will I can see your heart, a billion different ways. Every precious one, a child you died to save. And if you gave your life to love them, so will I. Like you would again 100 billion times. But what measure could amount to your desire? You're the one who never leaves the one behind.
Happy Easter, everybody! I don't know about you, but this is one of my favorite holidays to celebrate together with everyone. In fact, it's one of my favorite holidays to celebrate no matter what. Now, the reason why I love Easter so much, like one of my favorite memories of Easter is every year when I was growing up, we had like an Easter decorating, Easter egg decorating contest, and I was probably like the best Easter egg decorator in my town. Like, I was amazing. That's one of my favorite memories of Easter. And see what I mean? Easter is awesome. And not just because of the candy and the games and the good food and the time with family and even like the Easter egg decorating, all that stuff. Easter is something worth celebrating because it's a day that reminds us of something amazing God did to show us that He loves us and wants to be in relationship with us, no matter what. What exactly am I talking about? Well, at Easter, we celebrate the resurrection of Jesus. That word, resurrection, means that Jesus died and came back to life. And that's something worth celebrating because, well, first, I mean, it's just cool. How often does someone just die and then come back to life? Second, it means that death is defeated. Plus, it means that nothing can separate us from God's love. No sin, no mistake, no misstep, no decision. Because of Jesus and what He did for us at Easter, we can know we are loved, accepted, and forgiven by God, no matter what. Now maybe you're like, cool story and all, but I don't see how Jesus coming back to life has anything to do with me or my life. I mean, how is it even possible for God to love me no matter what? If that's how you feel, then I'd say that I totally understand. I felt that way before too. And honestly, sometimes I still do. Even though I believe in God and know how much He loves me, I also know I'm not perfect. I've made some mistakes. I've made a lot of mistakes. And because of that, it can be hard to feel like I really am loved and accepted and forgiven by God no matter what. I think that happens for a lot of reasons. When we make bad choices, it's easy to feel like God's far away. After all, He knows that we cheated on our test, or lied to that adult, or looked at those pictures online, or posted that mean thing about our friend on social media. There's no way He'd want to be close to us, right? And sometimes we feel guilty about the things we've done. And because of that, we hide from God. We stop spending time with Him or talking to Him or showing up at church because we feel like we don't deserve to be there. After what we did, well, it just seems like there's no way God would want much to do with us. And besides, we already feel bad enough about our mistakes. Do we really need God to remind us that what we did was wrong? Or sometimes, when we mess up, we feel like God's mad at us. After all, it seems like God wants us to live really good and almost perfect lives, right? It's easy to feel like He's mad when we make mistakes, or that He's disappointed because not only have we messed up, but we keep messing up. We just can't seem to stop making some of our bad choices, and because of that, we feel like God is mad or frustrated or maybe even done with us completely. Big or small, our mistakes have a way of making us feel like after what we've done, no one could actually love and accept us. Nobody could truly forgive us, especially not God. But the good news is, that's where Easter comes in. All that stuff about Jesus dying for our sins and offering us forgiveness, His resurrection making a way for us to be close to God forever, well, it's true. And believing this for ourselves has the power to change everything. To help us see what I'm talking about, let's look at an encounter Jesus had in the New Testament, the part of the Bible that was written after He came to earth. The encounter was with a guy named Peter, one of Jesus' closest friends and followers during His ministry. Now, Peter was a fisherman who completely left his life and career to follow Jesus. He eventually became one of the leaders in the early church and shared the message and hope of Jesus with others. So you'd probably look at a guy like Peter and think he pretty much had it all together. No mistakes, no mess-ups, nothing to keep him from being loved and accepted and forgiven by God, right? Not so fast. See, Peter was also known for making some pretty big mistakes. He had a way of acting first and thinking later, which turned into a recipe for a lot of major mess-ups in his life. And one of the biggest happened right around Easter. As Jesus was nearing the end of his life, he knew what was coming. He knew that he was going to be captured and killed on a cross. And he knew that this meant a lot of potential pain and danger for his disciples, including Peter. After all, they had dedicated their lives to following Jesus. They were closer to Him than anyone. So when Jesus, their leader, was arrested and taken to be killed, of course they'd be in danger of being taken with Him. To prepare them for what was ahead, Jesus warned His disciples of the events about to take place. And Peter, well, he promised to stand by Jesus to the death. But when it came down to it, and Jesus actually was arrested, what did Peter do? He denied even knowing Jesus. Not once, not twice, but 3 different times that night. Yikes. Talk about messing up. I can't imagine coming back from that. After Jesus' death, Peter and the other disciples weren't sure what to do. Their friend and teacher had been killed, and they were left alone, afraid, and in Peter's case, guilty. But then, that amazing thing we celebrate at Easter still happened. Jesus rose from the dead. He came back to life, and one of the first things He did was seek out His friends, including Peter. After Jesus' resurrection, His friends actually went back to their old lives. So, Peter went back to being a fisherman. One night, when the disciples were out fishing with no luck, someone from the shore called to them. To the disciples' surprise, it was Jesus. Peter straight up drove right into the water and swam to the shore just to see Him again. In his last moments alive, Peter had denied knowing Jesus at all. 3 times. Because of that, you might think that Jesus greeted Peter here with, shall we say, less than a warm welcome. But look at what happened. After breakfast, Jesus asked Simon Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?" "Yes, Lord," Peter replied. "You know I love you." "Then feed my lambs," Jesus told him. Jesus repeated the question. "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" "Yes, Lord," Peter said. "You know I love you." "Then take care of my sheep," Jesus said. A 3rd time he asked him, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Peter was hurt that Jesus asked the question a 3rd time. He said, "Lord, you know everything. You know that I love you." Jesus said, "Then feed my sheep." Jesus gave Peter a chance to right his wrongs. How many times did Peter deny knowing Jesus? 3. And how many times did Jesus give Peter the chance to show that He loved him? 3. That right there is pretty incredible. I think Jesus knew the guilt Peter must have been carrying around. I think He knew that Peter probably felt like his failures kept him from God's love or forgiveness. But here, Jesus extends not 1, not 2, but 3 chances for Peter to make it right. to be forgiven. And not just that, Jesus wanted Peter to continue to have a place in God's story. So often I think we feel like our own mistakes or failures not only keep us from God's love, but they keep him from wanting to use us for big and important things in this world. But when Jesus asked Peter to take care of his sheep here, he wasn't talking about like actual sheep, though that might be cool. He was talking about his followers, other Christians who would one day come to know and follow Jesus too. That's a pretty big job. And it's one that Jesus offered to Peter because he loved him. He believed in him and knew that his failures weren't the end of the story. And I want you to know that the same is true for you. Your mistakes and mess ups don't disqualify you from God's love. They don't keep you from being close to him or even being used to do great things for him. Because of Jesus' death and resurrection that we celebrate at Easter, you are forgiven. You are free to be loved by God no matter what. And that's something to celebrate. Easter reminds us we're forgiven no matter what. Jesus didn't move away from Peter when he failed. Instead, Jesus came towards him. And the same is true for us. God moves towards us in the middle of our mistakes, offering us forgiveness and a chance to start again. So today and during this Easter season, I want you to think about what you feel is keeping you from God's love and forgiveness. Is it one bad choice? A series of mistakes? A secret that nobody knows about? Whatever it is, I want you to know that because of Jesus, that thing in your life doesn't have the power to separate you from God's love. It can't keep you from him. Why? Because of Easter. Easter reminds us we're forgiven no matter what. And because you're forgiven, you don't have to worry about being separated from God. So today, make a choice to take one step closer towards God. Maybe for you, that's simply saying a prayer or committing to learn more about him by reading the Bible. Maybe it's listening to worship music and thinking about what the lyrics mean to you. Maybe it's asking for his forgiveness and help to start over. Or maybe it's just showing up at church next week to keep figuring out what you think about faith. Whatever it looks like for you, I want you to try to take a step towards God in your life this week, knowing that there is nothing that can separate you from him. Why? Because Easter reminds us we're forgiven no matter what. Over the past 3 weeks, we've been talking a lot about the Easter season and what Jesus' ultimate sacrifice meant, not only thousands of years ago, but for all of us right now as well. These people in the Bible saw and experienced the resurrection of Jesus with their own eyes. We can believe it's true because they shared about it with us. Through John's story, we're reminded that we're loved no matter what. The task of spreading the word of Jesus' resurrection was given to Mary Magdalene, showing us that we're important no matter what. And we just learned through Peter's experience that with Jesus, that we're forgiven no matter what. Because Jesus died and came back to life for all of us. We're loved, important, and forgiven no matter what. Nothing can change that. I think that's something to celebrate. As we go into groups today, you'll have a chance to talk about all the things we're reminded of and celebrate at Easter. We've created these groups so that you have a place to talk honestly about what you're learning here. They're a place you can speak up with your questions, celebrate big steps you take in faith, and encourage each other to keep going and believing God's best for your lives. Sharing with your group might be the best step you take towards God in your life right now.
Perfect. Cool. So before I send you guys off to groups, a couple things I want to talk about is just, first of all, this has been an awesome series, right? Talking about this idea of Easter and kind of going through the different reasons why we celebrate it. Talking about how we celebrate Easter because we're forgiven, because we know that we're loved no matter what. We're forgiven no matter what. And so with that main point of today, talking about this forgiveness and this idea of forgiveness, it's a hard thing to accept and understand sometimes. It really is, because it's cool. It's cool to hear that we're forgiven no matter what. But to truly believe that and feel that and know that, it can be tough. It really can. Because that's one thing to be said, right? And it's the same thing with like saying, hey, I forgive you. You can say that to somebody, but if you don't actually forgive them, does it have any like meaning behind it or anything like that? No. So it's a hard thing to understand and a hard thing to really, truly, kind of like discuss and talk about and feel. And so that is why I think it's so, important to talk about the things like this and things like this idea of forgiveness and how we are literally forgiven no matter what we do, right? The name of our series, no matter what we do, because God sent his one and only son out, Jesus, down the cross for us, for each and every one of us. And that, like I said, is not a simple, easy thing to understand, right? It's as simple as that, but it's so deep. And so that is why we have this perfect time during group to be able to kind of, you know, dive in and go a little bit deeper into that discussion. So I encourage you guys to talk about that and talk about this idea how if you feel alone and you're like, I did something wrong and like I can't, to know that, hey, you do have these people in your group and you do have these leaders that are here and they care for you. They gave up their Sunday morning to be here with you, right? They want to hear about you and your life and to know that, hey, no matter what guiltiness you feel or what wrong that you did, that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's not comparable. It doesn't change the fact that you are forgiven and you're loved, not only by your leader, but also by God, more importantly. So that's what I encourage you guys to talk about in group today. You guys are going to be dismissed just here in 1 second. Last thing I wanted to remind you guys of is that if you, for the couple of you guys that are wanting to stay after and help move chairs for the middle school move, first of all, thank you guys for that if you are. Second of all, just come find me or just kind of like, you know, come and meet here in the loft and hang out for a second. And then we'll go down together and we'll get started as a move and stuff. And then we'll go from there. So, and if you have any questions on that, just come find me or ask your leader about it. And we'll make sure you get what you need to. But other than that, you guys are dismissed to groups. For you people online, if you need to get hooked up in a group, let us know. But hey, we love you all. Hope you have an amazing week. See you guys. Bye. Peace, peace, peace.